If you're like me and you can't wait for Solo Leveling Season 3, you're just so hyped about after Season 2, you want to know what's coming up next, well, you can do what I've done, and I've read the manhwa. So Solo Leveling made me really get invested in the world, and I really wanted to see where we would keep going with this, that I started reading the manhwa. And I am quite a bit into the manhwa now, like way ahead of where the show was when the show was on air. So I decided what I was going to do now is, until Season 3 comes out, we're just going to go over the manhwa together. We're going to straight up do chapter reviews of the manhwa, going over the story, going over everything. And it'll be a lot of fun. We'll go over it together, and we can all still get our dose of Solo Leveling. So, let's start off with where we are. We're going to start with chapter 108, because this is where a lot of the stuff from Season 3 is going to happen. We are going to kick off right where Season 2 has kind of ended. Now, in chapter 108, we do start with the funeral scene, where Jinwoo is there at the funeral after the Jeju Island raid, and they have the reporters talking about how some people think he should have been there sooner, but he wasn't. And then we have the talk with Chairman Go, where he talks about opening his own guild. What was cut out from the show was what is next, which is probably going to be added in for Season 3. So as he's leaving, Jinwoo is stopped by a man called Adam White, who is the senior official for the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Mr. Adam White would like to share some information with Jinwoo that, there's probably not a single country or institution in the world that can provide you with the information I'm about to share. And when Jinwoo asks, why do you want to share this with me? He says, well, we benefit from sharing knowledge with special individuals such as yourself. He said, now, it was originally just going to be me talking you to this, but the deputy director wants to explain this to you as well. And he says he's got a car. Will Jinwoo come and meet him? And Jinwoo's kind of like, nah, I don't have time for that. I'll give you a call later after some thought. So seeing that he's losing Jinwoo, Adam just decides straight up, here's what it's about. And he introduces Jinwoo to what an upgrader is. He says an upgrader is an awakened being who can enhance the abilities of another awakened being. Jinwoo is, of course, immediately taken by this and joins Adam in the car. They drive to a hotel where Jinwoo meets Michael Connor, the deputy director of the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Michael straight up slaps down some immigration documents to Jinwoo and says that, one word and you will become an American citizen. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to recruit Jinwoo to join them in America. Jinwoo is not interested in this, and he's like, I only came because you said you had information for me. And Michael then asks for a Miss Selner to come into the room. So we are then introduced to Norma Selner, the supposed upgrader. So, Selner straight up tells you what her abilities are. She says she has the power to help awakened beings reach beyond their potential. Through a process of 3 stages, she can lift their limitations. She doesn't actually have a name for this power. She doesn't know if she's performing a force reawakening or something else. And Michael says that because her power is very strenuous, she requires a long period of rest every time she uses her powers, and only 3 or 4 awakened individuals are able to receive her upgrade every single year. And when Jinwoo asked how effective the process is, she says it's different for every person, but after going through all 3 stages, the individual will experience anywhere between a 20% to 30% increase in power. And they kind of imply here that this is why Dong So Hwan moved to America in the first place, was because he received the upgrade. So that's a nice little bit of information there, that's why he moved to America in the first place, was because he was gonna see the upgrade. Now, obviously, if word got out about Selner and her abilities, everyone go crazy about it. So they try their best to, keep her on the down low. And of course, to sweeten the deal, for Jinwoo to come over to America, they say that we will use, Miss Selner's powers on you. However, it's not an offer. Like once you sign, we'll use the powers. They're straight up just gonna do it right now. They're going to use this as a gift, quote unquote. They said just think of it as a complimentary service, straight up. And Jinwoo's just like, all right, go do your best. However, it does not go the way they planned. Selner starts the process, right, by looking into Jinwoo's eyes, but she is then suddenly taken into a dark void where we get this amazing shot of Jinwoo just like staring back at her, and she loses it. And you know, the guards are like, what the hell? And they take their guns out on Jinwoo. And you know, this kind of ends the meeting right then and there, as Selner's kind of like freaking out, she's shaking. And Connor asks like, we'll reschedule for another time. And Jinwoo's taken away. And when asked what happened, Miss Selner just calls Jinwoo. She straight up just says he's a king. Well, the entire fandom could have told you that one before. And Selner says that she's never experienced anything like this before. He's a king, but not an ordinary one. She says that when she was looking at him, he was looking back. But I'm not talking about Sun Jinwoo. The thing that was staring back at me, there was an infinite darkness within him. And that there is no limit to Jinwoo's power. And that's pretty much where this new content ends, because the next chapter, 110, is just the highway scene where Jinwoo steps through the red gate. That's that scene. They just cut out this bit with the upgrade. But then, I mean, everything else is the same. So you can see why they cut the upgrader bit out. They didn't want to add it in, and then this just kind of goes nowhere as we end the season. So this upgrade bit will probably be in season 3 as like one of the very first things we do. So there we go. That is these next 3 chapters, 108 through 110. It gives us a nice little taste of what's to come and shows us even more of, like, you know, how powerful Jinwoo is. And 110 was the end of season 1 of the manhwa. So that's a really good way that season 2 ended. It ended with season 1 of the manhwa, and now we move into more and more story as we go along. So that's gonna do it for me. Let me know what you all thought in the comments down below. I'm looking forward to doing these reviews with you guys and going over the story. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.